but yeah, she's in Harvey Bay now. She's God
Oh,
4 months.
nice.
She'll have 4 months, 4.5 months. So that's great. It's been a
And and then is she coming back to US, or can
well,
she?
eventually, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
We got all the papers submitted. We got to go through a process.
All right.
She has to go to the embassy this summer. So uh, yeah.
Is it difficult from Australia to America, or within America? Is it the Australian part or the American part that's tricky to get back in? Or
Well, it's just the immigration process. Once you're outside of the country
yeah,
and you submit the papers, if
yeah,
your papers are submitted when you're out of the country,
yeah.
it takes longer.
Ah, cool, cool, cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool. Are we on? I can see
Oh
someone's.
shit! Hang on, hang on. Let's. It says Keith Hill, so let me edit that.
Okay.
And
Mm.
I can't always remember to do what I'm supposed to do.
That's okay.
Muir, Michael Muir. Let me fix it.
Sweet.
Uh, what's going on with that thing? Huh. Okay. All right. Let me just fix it real quick.
All right.
Damn, I hate when that happens.
That's okay.
But I'm gonna go back and fix it
Okay.
on all the platforms.
No worries.
I'll do the main ones right now.
Okay. No problem. No
It'll
problem.
sh- it'll it'll correct itself
Okay.
in the next couple of hours. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we're good. It says Michael Muir. Let me just tag you on it.
Okay. Yeah. Can you tag me so it comes up
Yeah.
um on my wall or whatnot? Yeah.
Yeah. Let me do that now. Uh, huh, there you go. There we
Yeah.
go. Boom.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's going to come up now on your wall.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Back to the. All right. So 2 minutes and 22 seconds into it, we got 22 people in the house.
Ah, sweet.
So that's enough to get started with. So Michael Muir's in the house in
Hello.
Sunshine Coast, Queensland.
That's right.
What's been happening? What's going
Oh
on?
my gosh. What? Well, sometimes it feels like nothing's going on, like outwardly, and you know, a shitload's going on energetically. So,
No kidding.
so it's been pretty intense. Hey, it's been pretty intense, um, especially the last couple of weeks. I feel.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah. Um,
This window of the second, well, I'll do it your way.
mm,
2022 to 2022. Like
yeah.
we're about to get through this, whatever the hell's going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this month's been like, wow, been crazy.
Yeah,
Uh,
and it's just I've been doing some small events for online for the portal dates. So I did one for the opening at the two. And that was a real doozy. You know, that really I felt that's when a lot of light poured in. It took me a fair while to ground actually that one. That was quite strong.
which was that the one on the second?
Yeah, the
Hmm.
second it felt like it even started before it. Um, few days before, but it's been sort of on since then, I feel. And just really, so energetically, lots of light coming in. Sort of, it feels like it's impacting the nervous system. It's sort of working with the mind and the pineal, and a lot of heavy releasing in people. What I'm noticing with clients, with myself, a lot of karmic releasing. I feel so that we can, once we're through that 22 um, that we will hopefully. I feel like it's like like a real marker point for an advancement in the ascension of the collective and ourselves. So I think that's why it's so heavy going with the release of density, you know, and the exhaustion that can come with that, and the physical manifestations that can come with that too.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Because we've had these different periods where it's like nothing duality based can go with you. karma can't go with you. You know, you're going to squeeze through the eye of the needle or whatever they call it, whatever. And but this one feels totally different. Like I remember people talking about this 2 and 3 years ago. This specific date, the 22nd of February, 2022. There must be some truth to that because my ears just went nuts.
Oh, did they? Wow.
Yeah,
So
but it feels like this one's much different than the other ones. I mean,
how do you feel that? How do you experience that?
Me personally, I feel like that we're about to come out big time. Like I'm watching, you know, I always watch the different platforms just to see what's happening, and I feel like that. Well, what I'm observing is, and this isn't a slight against anyone or anything. It's just more of a characteristic of what's occurring, and what I'm noticing is that a lot of the platforms, and these would be, you know, with the bigger names and such. I don't mean this in a bad way, but like the clickbait type of topics and themes, they're running out of things to say. The stuff that's been put out there and gained interest, and rightfully so, over the years, you know, disclosure oriented, conspiracy oriented.
Oh, yes.
Even starseed oriented. I'm noticing that they're running out of things to say, and to me, it feels like that. Just like with all of us, it's the deconstruction of what's not real, you know, and it may have been real, but because we've expanded, the truth has a higher, you know, bar now, and so that's creating space for the real, which to me is this. And I'm not saying because we do it, but I'm saying because I'm just saying that the vast majority of the people, in the vast majority of those people that don't typically get out there and bang the drum and really, that really have the presence or I guess the awareness. People have the awareness of they're like the ones that have been kind of standing back, and I mean this more like metaphorically and energetically. That I think the room has been made or is being made for these frequencies to step up. You know, and like a good example would be I've noticed since October a lot of men or a significant number of men have come onto the show. Somebody reached out to me. It's time for me to come out. A lot like what a lot of the women have said over the years, and that's happening more too. So I really feel like that kind of frequencies are coming forward now.
Yeah, I totally agree, and it's just a couple of things from what you said that inspired me to bring this up. Is so one of the things that came in at the 2nd of February workshop was literally when I was channeling. Just the space was very different. The energy was very different. Like for people that don't know me so well, I channel in English and I channel in light language, and it's a combination in the workshops I do. And it was just, I was sitting there like I am with you today doing the group, and the energy was so different. And it still feels different now when we're talking, you know, it feels so different that it's just really spacious. And even though there's a hell of a lot of clearing and emotional stuff going on for people, it just feels like we're definitely in a breakthrough moment energetically right now. And a lot of people are at different places in their clearing process around that in the last couple of weeks. But it's really interesting to feel the difference and the build up to this sort of, I don't know, like pop through or something. And and I noticed for myself in regards to people coming out as in and showing up more, it's just felt in the last I felt in the last month just a little bit more more risk taking, more open with what I put out there, and less kind of caught in the old persecution fear, should we say, around bringing stuff out. I feel like there's been a shift in the collective around that a little bit. That it feels a little bit safer. Maybe it's because the pathogen narrative's not quite as strong as it was, and people aren't quite as in fear. But it could also be, I feel like for me personally, and maybe some of the masculines that we're talking about stepping up, there's a real, I feel like there's something happening in the codex of their energy. And this is just my interpretation, my perception, that is releasing a lot of the old Christ trauma, Christ timeline of persecution, really. All that stuff. And the other times that represent.
No, I totally agree with this. We talked about this on the last show, and I've talked about it a little bit over the last couple of weeks when it's presented itself. I do a lot of lucid dreaming. I had 3 dreams in 4 nights. This was about 3 weeks ago, and they were all totally about the masculine, distortion, being laid to rest, being brought into equilibrium, transformation, transmutation, or whatever you want to call it, conversion. But yeah, I think that there's something big going on, and maybe in the 22nd, or the number 22 is, I believe, if I understand correctly, is a sacred union type of number that signifies sacred union. So to me, it really feels like, and I know this continues, and there will be a continuation and leveling up again and again, but it really feels like that we've hit a point of equilibrium, or we're approaching it, and maybe it's on or about the 22nd, where it's going to change, like changing everything. Like, I mean, I'm excited, regardless of what's going on. It doesn't even stick anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. There's too much personal transformation and personal expansion that's just, in my opinion, just going to become a dominant force very quickly. And I believe it's rooted in that last piece, maybe the masculine, getting a last of the big, blockages out or whatever, and then allowing that new masculine energy to come out and then collaborate with the feminine energy. And I'm seeing it in a lot of ways all around. There's different places, people, in myself, and and everything.
Yeah, definitely. I felt in myself a softening towards the feminine aspect of myself, and also goddesses that are local to me. But so there's a softening around, I feel, and I actually was drawn in. I drew in a friend from Sydney to give me it was called the rite of the womb, and it can be given to a male or a female. Just a lot of healing that sacral wounding. I feel like we do have that really big opportunity on the 22nd to do a lot of, like when you talked about it, like that divine masculine feminine internal balance around the central channel and into the heart space. It feels I keep, like, when I was writing the blurb for the group, I just got the completion transmission. It feels like that will be the completion of a phase, and then it's almost like the door will be open then to I mean, of course we're going through these gateways and doorways and blah 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 over and over, but this does feel like a big jump, this one.
Yeah. Yeah, it does to me. Like I feel like that, and I don't want to lay an overlay on anyone, but I feel like that, what is today? The 17th, 18th, something like that, 18th, 19th. That there's going to be both like a louder expression or output or emission of the distortion, let's say the false flag frequency, but also at the same time, there's a much louder individual, therefore collective, balanced, sacred union-esque type of situation that we haven't had to this extent. I mean, this feels absolutely huge to me, and
Sure.
I'm excited about it.
Mm,
Although,
mm,
especially if we just look at if we just look at this year,
mm.
there's been so much going on, with the body, with relationships.
Yes.
I've known a handful of relationships, some that were very long relationships
Mm,
that are no longer in
mm,
connection. And
mhm,
then, of course, that happens on the individual level as well. So there's been a lot
yes.
of deep dives. But
Mm,
to me, there's
mm,
just been an absolute steady,
mm,
deliberate
mm,
ascending
yes.
incline
Mm,
that's always been here. But now it just seems to, I don't know how to explain it. It's not really, I don't think, provable, scientifically,
yeah,
unless
yeah.
we gathered all the people in these communities and put them up against the hole and said, okay, this percentage has gone from here to here, whatever. I don't know, but it feels right. Everything feels right. It feels like there's less doubt and there's more um, focus and more devotion and more commitment and more relaxation, regardless of the fluctuations. Like this actually
Yes,
is starting to happen now. All these things that have guided us
yes,
individually and internally since on or about 2012, depending on who you are.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I definitely feel like those that have been working towards holding space for the collective and doing the work, the light workers, the star seeds, the earth workers, all that sort of jazz. Um, their nervous systems. I feel keep getting upgraded by these energies and the portals. And the soul and the intense solar activity that's coming in now. It does feel it feels like we've just from January to now feels bigger than last year,
Yeah.
if
Yes.
it just
Yes.
feels the whole of last year, which is a bit crazy to say, but it energetically it's been huge. And I feel like I know, and the other piece that I got about the 22nd, it's going to really help us really anchor more of that, because I think the 22 is also about the master number as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And so bringing in that soul, more of that soul into the body, and really having the stability and an expanded nervous system to hold, um, this ever accelerating frequency that's coming in, so, and of course, as that comes in, um, all those karmic ties, where if they're not no longer serving, may kind of dissolve. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt about that. It's already been happening.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said about some of these couples and just other things that are being deconstructed. But you mentioned
Mm,
about you in
mm,
your own field feeling softer.
mm,
Uh,
mm,
that's that's something I've noticed in the masculine coming in since October on this show, and then otherwise, and then with
mm,
myself, kind of
mm,
culminating with these lucid dreams last month, and then continuing
mm,
through this month. But I
mm,
can just tell because I know. Uh, that's one thing. We've been doing shows over 2 years together, and one of the
mm,
things I've always recognized about you and I is that we both have a fire, and uh, I I'm watching.
uh,
I'm watching it in myself.
mm,
It's still there, and in fact, it's burning brighter. But there's this
mm,
softness
yeah.
that is really interesting, and you made reference to it, and I can also just feel it in
Mm,
you too. I mean, it's nice because I don't know. I feel I wondered for a long time as I was trying to get rid of the distorted, uh, you know, tough guy, whatever the case is. And I thought,
mm,
when is the fire that
mm,
was the good part of that
mm, yeah.
masculine? When is that going to come back? How's it going to come
Mm,
back? And
mm,
now I can see it.
mm,
I can see it in myself. I can see it in others.
mm,
It's soft, but it's very, very powerful.
mm,
It definitely looks like to me as well that there's I don't want to say a changing of the guard, but it is a changing of the guard as the patriarchal crumbles. The feminine energy in all of us, that softness is starting to come or take the lead, take the point, and the masculine's becoming a different kind of complement. You know, it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. I'm noticing it myself, and like I just had a talk with Keith Hill, and I see it in him. I see it in you. I mean, so it's all good. I mean, I'm excited. I'm setting my bar as high as I can. You know, teleportation.
Yeah.
You know, traveling around physically into the universe, into the solar system. I mean, I'm serious about this stuff. Not aging. I really feel like this stuff is there. It's here now.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like it. There's so much energy opening up that who knows? I think I think we need to dream big, you know,
Absolutely.
and create the new Earth template through our own. I always like the stuff that I've been doing, and I think part of me been orchestrated out of the city of Sydney, which is a very you know, a bit busier energetically. I love that place too, but I guess a bit more yang energy, which is, and I think I was taken out of there just to be able to slow down and connect with the earth more, the feminine, and do this clearing of that aspect, ready for holding space, I guess, in a different way, in a more balanced way with both the masculine, not losing the masculine fire and the doing energy, I guess, if you will, but also holding the space in a being way, in the feminine, intuitive nature. So the work has actually changed a little bit, and I've been connecting, as well as still connecting very much with the galactic frequencies, also connecting with inner earth, middle earth, and then
I knew you were going to say that. Right? I just said this in my head, right before you said inner earth. I went inner earth. It's like I got to tell him. I got to bring this up, and then you just said it.
Go. Yeah.
So I've always had, you know, I guess a connection, a relationship with the inner earth, and it would come and go, and it would baffle me at times. But I don't know. I'm going to go back 3 to 5 weeks. It started creeping in. I started asking people about it. I still wasn't getting, I still wasn't getting a lot of substance. Then about 4 nights ago, I had an experience, and when I just went to bed, and even though Morgan's over there, she was there, and it was just we were in this space, and I didn't really get a lot from it. It was just like a little quick kind of a dream sequence. It was a lucid dream. It was a communion that turned into a lucid dream is what ended up happening. So we did a session with 2 friends of ours 2-3 nights ago.
Oh, cool.
And we went, something we've done before. We've even put some of these out end of last year. I think we put 4 of them out, where we went into the New Earth grid, and she took us, you know, and facilitated us into the New Earth grid. But this time, as soon as we got there, it was the place that I had seen the night before. So I knew there was a connection.
Wow.
And so it was a very powerful for all 4 of us. But, you know, without going too deep into it, and just see where you go with it, there was a presence of like a family, a familiarity. There was some kind of, to me, like a tightening up of the connection. Part of the experience for me was, and I think the others was, there was like a cord established. And so let me just fast forward to what I got from it so far, or what part of what I got was that whatever aspect is there, that is me. And really this happened with the others too. There was a merging. And so after it was over and I went to bed, I connected, and I didn't really have to try, but I connected with that aspect. And I was told that, you know, and I think this kind of speaks to where we're at, all of us.
Yes.
I was told that this is a tandem collaboration now. You can say power self or soul and human. And it was just being explained to me that you can speak in one voice, you can act in one voice, you can be one in your multidimensionality. It's just a matter of whether you want to look at these things as being external still, or you want to own it and let it all be internal. So it feels very much like an inner space type of accessibility. As you go in, it metaphorically parallels and literally parallels, let's say, a dimensional journey into the inner earth. Like, I don't know, there's something really, really big for me in the inner earth. And I really feel like it's got to do with all of us, but I don't know. I know you're in touch with a lot of different frequencies and star systems and such, but what's your feeling on the inner earth?
Thank you for sharing that, by the way, Todd. I felt the power of the experience as you were sharing. I guess I was listening to some of those, those QH, is it QHHT?
Yes.
Hypnosis sessions?
Yes.
And I got activated or triggered by one that was talking about a blue light from inner earth. And the way my eye kind of, I guess, brings stuff in is I'll listen to something or we'll have a conversation or something and I'll get sort of some information around it. Through knowing. And I guess with the inner earth stuff, I started to come in the workshops really strongly as there's as many beings in the inner earth or Middle Earth as there are, out in the galaxies and whatnot. So it is a parallel. It's like it feels related to obviously the lower chakras because it's Earth. So I feel like as you were talking, very base chakra and dimension, but it feels like it is exactly what you said. We're reclaiming aspects of ourselves from different dimensions, and this one needs to happen now. And it feels like there's a cheer squad down there saying, we're here to help you. As much as the Galactics would say that, you know what I mean, and that they want us to reunify with those soul extensions, or at least remember the wisdom of those energies. And it feels, and I feel like there's a lot of Lemurian energy there as well. There's a lot of which is bringing in the feminine, obviously, blah blah blah. But it feels like there's a lot of like what's been coming up very strongly in the workshops I've been doing in the last few months here in Australia is releasing the throat of the feminine through but it's Lemurian aspects of ourselves. So it feels that it feels like it's a necessary like necessary soul merge to reclaim our strength and our voice, whether in your male or female body, to be able to step up in whatever's coming, for us collectively,
Yeah. So when I communicated with this aspect of me that was in the new earth, now these were golden beings, I might add. All of us had the same experience. We'd actually had another experience a few days prior with one of our friends in this last one. Energy, golden liquid.
Wow.
It was golden liquid. Morgan was like golden particles. Our other friend was like bathing in the gold. This was golden family, and so all of them, all of us were like, "Wow, it feels very familiar." That was the first thing that came out, because this is kind of like what she does is takes us through like a shared, experience, where everybody's participating in from I guess you could say from the third eye or whatever. So anyway, when I went to bed,
Yes.
and this aspect popped in,
Yes.
explaining to me about kind of embodying and anchoring the multidimensionality and becoming one voice and functioning as a human. But the human is 50% of the deal. It can't be less. I mean, that's the thing. It's a equal merging. But what he said to me was, he said, you have all these multidimensional aspects, but this aspect or this family, and I'm just trying to put words to this, I'll just speak in terms of myself, but that this aspect, he said, was the bridge to all the other multi-dimensional or say star system aspects that I might have, or other aspects that I might have. That this one actually is in my human lineage as well as my soul lineage. So you could say my earth lineage or my solar system lineage, where it was all humanoid, like Franco used to talk about, you have a soul lineage and you have a human lineage. And so in that explanation, as he was talking to me, I actually, the consciousness is split, and the human consciousness was here and the soul consciousness was here, and he was speaking and showing me that he's in both. So it was almost like the closest aspect to me, which would be to us, is right below our feet. And of course there's, and then the next night, when I laid down and I said, family, I want to see you, and I actually thought there was going to be some materialization. I was shown, I would have to guess, like 30 to 40 different species. They were all related to the earth. They were all, I would say, my family. And they were all either nature being type of energies or elemental or inner earth, such as Mount Shasta or Shambhala, or so to me it feels, I mean, I'm like, just my whole spine is like going crazy right now, but to me it's like I remember when I met Morgan, so September 2015, and I'd already been having like inner earth scenarios, but when I met her, something clicked, like you said, you watch something, you watch a QHHT or you hear someone talking, and then it triggers you, and it provides the code for you. And I remember just knowing in that moment a few things, but one of the things I knew was Australia, Antarctica, and Antarctica being inner earth. So I don't know. To me, it feels like that's very significant, at least for my own journey, that it's kind of like a full circle thing. And I feel like that somewhere or another we're gonna see these aspects somewhere or another.
Or become them, maybe even.
Well, I mean, I mean, I didn't mean like literally so much. I just meant like the presence of that aspect of the earth and of us is going to take on a more prominent role, or be more in our face, or because I mean, if you look at it, everyone's talked about the galactics, Arcturians, Andromedans, the Pleiadians, the Sirians, and so on and so on. There has been some talk about inner earth, but usually it's about Telos, or it's about Shambhala, but you don't.
That's
you don't.
Go ahead. I was just going to say that's what I got. That there's so many beings there, of so many different varieties, that some of them, it just feels, very big. I love the when you were talking about the golden beams. There's some energy that wants to come through, if you want.
I was going to say the same thing to you, but I don't do that. I'm like, do they want me to talk? No, it's you. Yeah.
But you can do it if you want.
No, we'll see what happens. But I just want to point out, see, Morgan, she made the point that those golden beings, I don't know if I had said this, but the golden beings merged with each one of us. So when we arrived to this place,
yes,
it was, everybody knew that their aspect was waiting for them. And each one of us went to our aspect and we merged with it, by our own choice, and I think that was significant. And I don't know if I'd mentioned that. So she mentioned, I just want to mention it, but go ahead, bring this in. Let's see what happens.
So does Morgan want to share something else with that, or?
No, I think she was just, kind of reiterating that.
Okay.
I couldn't remember if I had mentioned that, but yeah, it was colossal. That's all I can tell you. It was just, it was really fucking mind blowing. It was, and to do it with 3 other people was even better. It was very cool.
Wow, there's a lot of energy here for it.
Yeah.
So,
Go for it. Go for it. We got all the time in the world.
Yeah. So, so this is really, this is just what you've said. This is just what you guys experienced. And if I may, I'll just piggyback on what you've been energetically bringing through, both you and Morgan, and the experience of that. Taking our listeners and ourselves into like a golden chamber of light, a golden chamber of light down below, in a different frequency, a different zone, if we say. In space, beyond space, beyond time. Vast space. This is who we are. This is who we've been talking about connecting to on the 2222. This is the stability of the golden aspect coming through my energy field from this sacred inner earth, middle earth space. There is some code for you all. We would say that it is for the heart, but it is also for the high heart. It's also for the throat. Because you are really one chakra. So you are going to activate what is necessary in your own vessel, each of you. We are the golden ascension dragons. Yes, that is who we are channeling today. Ushunduruni andarandi le burko shundre barandereki. Joshundurunde abaraleti. Ishindere de kurunde shkarka. Ishkeda de ushundorke in ishileki urko unu. Ishile guru undur in the arki. Ashalarande ala ishiara. Duduyara. Oduduriala kara. And we give to you your power, your innate soul, the truth of yourself, each individually, the expanded dragon aspect integrated within. So in a moment, you will come back to the here and now. finding yourself back in your 3D body, 3D vessel. Slowly opening your eyes and coming back to the room.
Dude, that was bitching. That was, I've heard you do a lot. That was the most resonant I've ever heard you speak. That was, and it captured everything too, because even though we weren't shown dragons, and she actually put up a comment, I was thinking the same thing. So they said they were the master builders, building the new grid for the earth, and I'll follow up on that in a second. And then that they were a few of many. So we did. We're going to have done probably, I don't know, several. We wanted to do the grid, and we put like 3 or 4 of those out last year. She takes it into the new grid, and then we just started exploring. And then we had one that was with one of our friends, Monique. That was, say, 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, and we went in. Now, the other trips that we made with each other and sometimes with another friend, everything was always above the ground, right? Not that there wasn't shafts and corridors and things, but it was all. So when this one happened, like I said, the night before, I remember standing in front of this place, and it looked like a corridor, but it was a shaft. And as soon as we got there with our 2 friends, you know, the next night, because I just got a little glimpse of it, then we were there, and I was like, oh, we're here. Like this is not what it was before. What we didn't know was, as we started to go down what we thought was a corridor, it was a shaft, and so we were going down, 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 down until we came to this place. But the one that we had had previously with Monique, we went to this big cavern, which again was still above the ground, and in the back of the cavern was like a spaceship.
Wow.
Like it had been part, you know, like a part of a spaceship. And at that time, we were given blueprints. And it was our feeling, and I think I'm going to get this right. I know this is what I was, and I think everybody was concurring on this, was that this is how we started. We came here, we landed, here's the blueprints, let's start seeding the earth and let's get going. So fast forward to the one from a couple nights ago, this to me was like later on, you know, like much time had passed, you know, our aspects had offspring, you know, after offspring, and we're now, you know, the say the present generation. So it very much was like an origin type of thing, and then of course with the you know, the information my aspect was giving, like we are both. We are part of your soul lineage. We're part of your human lineage. And that really stood out, you know.
So I saw Morgan write that she felt that I tuned into that space that you guys went to when you went there with the golden beings, and I feel that that golden dragon frequency. If there's any question that you want to ask right now, ask me.
Okay.
And then we'll talk through me, is what I hear.
Okay. So if anybody has a question.
Yeah. Like why, what's the deal, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And like the dragon, to me, the dragon energy is the architect energy. You know, like I get that. A lot of people have said that too. So there's something to be said for that. I know that when we went down there was, and this even, because I'm getting a little bit mixed up in the human mind, because Morgan and I did a session last night.
Yes.
As we lay down together.
Beautiful.
With the phones on, and I recorded it, and I'm anxious to go listen to it. I remember a lot of it, but There, somewhere along the line in these episodes that I'm talking about, there was a correlation between the February 22nd date that was specifically spoken about that had to do with what's being offered. And so the other thing I want to mention too, and then I'll ask the question. And if anyone has a question, please, I can see all platforms, so we'll get any of them.
Okay.
Somewhere along the line, I had in the last few days, and I can't tell you exactly when or what the sequence was, but I had this, and I want to say about 3 days ago, I had this journey into the inner earth when I lay down by myself and I went to sleep. And it was mostly not visual, although I'm very visual. It was more sensational to the body, sensory to the body. And what was happening was as I was going down, and I don't know if it was me or if I was being shown, and that's how they were showing me. But as I was going down, first of all, it started like really dark. And then as I started going down, there started to have this faint illumination of like a white bluish light, like a bioluminescent light. And as it went down further, it got brighter and brighter. But as it went down further, all of a sudden, I was seeing with a different set of eyes. I was hearing without ears. My heart started to slow down, and then it stopped. And then the breathing stopped. But I was alive. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, and I'm going to make it part of the question, is because I think it was last night or the night before, after we did this session with our friends, Morgan and I were talking, and she said, I think that our physical body is dying without dying, like what happened there, right? And I said, yeah, because what I was getting was that as we went down into the inner earth, it was us going into ourselves, the micro and the macro, right? Going into ourselves. And then, so my question would be, what is the significance? What is the correlation to February 22nd? What, if you can explain, what is the opportunity, what's being offered, what's available, and anything else that might be significant on or about the date of the 22nd and what it means?
Okay, so I'm just going to say what comes. That's how I kind of roll, and it may resonate, it may not. So, so really, this is tied back to the experience of the golden dragons, or the golden embodiment that is coming in for you guys in your group. It is also tied into the question Morgan asks around the new earth and the grids. Because as we embody this golden aspect, it is correct that we are dying to ourselves, because we are being remade, reborn in energetic sovereignty, soul mastery, soul, the golden seraphims, should we say, are coming back to the earth. And this is the 22-2. It is the anchoring of that soul master golden template to the ones that have come to embody it. The initial ones. There'll be more later, but the initial ones is now. And this is the formation of the New Earth Grid by the individuals anchoring it in through their seventh chakra pillar from base to crown, connected up through to the 12th. That's going to allow the formation of the New Earth matrix. So it is this that is completed within each individual physical vessel at the 22-2, which is a pivotal turning point for the grid to come into activation, which then will have a ripple effect on collective consciousness and worldly events.
we found a new radio station.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, there's so much coming in. I think I picked up more from the non-English stuff than I did the English stuff. How crazy is that? So we had seen what was shown as in the previous sessions. And by the way, we were thinking about basically doing the same thing that we did with our friends and that we've done with in the past, and actually doing it with as big a group that wants to do it, to go into the grid and explore as a team. So if anyone has any thoughts on that, let us know, because we might do it. We have a event workshop on Saturday or Sunday, depending on where you're at. So,
Sweet.
I mean, it might be something we do toward the end of the month or something. But if people are interested, I think it's a very powerful thing, especially now that you're connecting the dots. But so, okay, so there was when we went before, everything was kind of above ground, and it was, and I can only go off my own visuals, but what I can say, and I think everybody that was involved agrees with, what was being said to us was that what you're looking at now, and I'm talking about this last trip that the four of us went, you're looking at the foundational structure of the infrastructure. You're looking at what is and has been and is being kind of reconstructed and re-established.
Yes.
And so some of what came in too was that we each have these teams, and they're all actively building based on our own transformation and our own, direction and such. And that part of the reason that a lot of people are sleeping is because we're over there building this thing furiously to support the overall wake up thing, right? And so I remember that, and there was something else that actually my aspect just popped in and was showing me. Oh, yeah, just restating or trying to restate what was just said to me, which was the importance of mentioning the opportunity to call on that golden being in the inner earth that is your aspect, that has both a soul and human lineage, which is a unique situation, the bridge. The offering is there, and it's something that I think we would probably do if we end up doing a group thing, where I think that would kind of take care of itself, because that's kind of what happened when we all did it. But yeah, that just came in like
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So. I'm lost for words, but for once, but it feels. I just resonate with everything you're saying around that template. It's almost like it's becoming the original template that has been. It's the original template restoring.
Yeah. There was some talk about that last night too. I'm glad I recorded her last night, because it was good. We hadn't done it in a while. We used to do it every night, but being apart, and it just came up organically. I just mentioned to her, she was thinking about it, you know how that goes. And then I just happened to say, hey, why don't I stay up late tonight and I'll go to bed with you? And she goes, we should do this. I'm like, that's what I was thinking. Right. So that's what we did.
Cool.
But yeah, to me, there's something, and I know, like where I'm at here, I've been very aware since we got here 2 summers ago of the portals. One in particular here, I call it an interdimensional portal. I've done a couple of things with it, but it's always been sitting there. Like I did one big thing with it and a couple little things as I was told to do it. But it's been sitting there, and I've known that it's going to be an important something. and I know that they're all over the place. So there's something going on. And just as a little, a little bit of context, I've researched Middle Earth, Inner Earth for a number of years, going back to like 2013, and I started to do it again over the last few weeks. And just as one example, and I can't recall where this is in the world. I want to say it is either in Mexico or the U.S., but there is a Cavern network. And I'm not quite sure where it is. It might even be in Europe. I don't remember. But just as an example of the physicality, I'm not saying this proves anything, but something to consider. This particular place has over 400 miles of mapped and drawn to schematic tunnels in one place, right? And there's a lot of other stuff out there for people that want to look into it, but I really feel like that this is something that it really feels close to me.
And just as you're talking about it, and the portals and near your space where you are, there's something very because I've also been drawn to doing a lot more portal work and working on the grids stuff since I've moved up here. But there's also something very important that you guys are doing together. You've been where you are and Morgan been where she is right now. There's the portal wise, there's a space that you are holding, and there's sort of like it's like there's as you both open yourselves in your different home zones, it's like there's a transfer of this energy that is helping to link across the world. It's maybe why she hasn't got back yet.
It's exactly why. Yeah, it's exactly why. I mean, there's always multiple purposes, multiple meanings, but and we were just revisiting this last night too. We were talking, but yeah, it's been it's been coming in for me in my own way I guess the whole time, but there was a lot of human stuff that had to be dealt with or faced or whatever you want to call it. But on the non-human part of it, I said the non-human, you know what I mean? I started feeling the electromagnetic aspect, the poles, north and south, the flipping, and how somehow or another we were connected to it. And just very recently, like when you started doing that, it brought it right back, like in my face. Like I know this interdimensional portal here, and I know that there's one around her somewhere too. I don't understand it. I don't have it in my head. I don't know what it means. I don't know if it means that I'm going to jump in here one day when we hit a certain frequency and go underground tunnel and pop up in Queensland. I don't know, but from a non-literal standpoint, from a energetic or etheric standpoint, absolutely what you're saying.
I feel like I was just going to say, Todd, I feel like this is where we've been, I think, push. Like, I love the fact that you guys are going to start doing some group work, grid work, or and stuff. It feels like that's where many of us have been guided towards right now to anchor in the grids for ourselves, so as Morgan said, simultaneously.
Well, I think it's there's something about as again this being was explained to me, this aspect that it's so there's the physical and the non-physical from the human perspective. Obviously the human's the human, right? And again, what he was saying is that he was both. And so I've always went, as I sit and share space with you and others that do the type of stuff that you do, I've always, looked at this and gone, because people talk about this from our future. And I
Oh,
always
yeah.
go, now I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm just going somewhere with this. And I'd be like, no,
It's
to
okay.
me, it feels like our most recent past.
Mm.
But when you think of inner earth and what
Mm.
this aspect was, communing with me,
Mm.
and again, this is just for people to information, and they discern whatever they discern,
Mm.
that would be the closest to it.
Mm.
That would be as close as you
Mm.
can get. So it would make sense to me that this would play a very prominent role in
Mm.
our, let's say, the initial stages of the next phase. I
Yes.
just feel it really strong. And I mean, it's not going away. It's getting bigger and bigger. So I don't know if that's just me because maybe I'm connected to it, or if it's real. I think it has to do with all of us, though. I really do. I mean, I'm
Mm.
just going to say it. I'm just going to put it out there.
No, I think so. Mm.
So,
It feels right. It feels right. Yeah.
dude, this is the best show we ever did together. And we've had
Thanks.
some great, we've had
You
some
hot
great,
shit.
yeah.
Is it time? Is it time?
We can go longer if you want to. Or you need to go. It's up to you.
No, I'm fine. I'm just
Whatever you feel. If you feel like we're done, then we're done. That's fine.
Is there anyone? Is there any questions around that? I saw someone.
Yeah,
wrote
there was. By the way, Mammoth Cave in Kentucky is that one with the 400 miles of.
Oh wow, Kentucky.
Yes. Thank you, Eve. Okay, so there was one. I saw one, but I think it was covered. Okay, what do we
I
got
think
here?
I mean on the in. I feel like as things are energetically, many different grid groups are clearing lots of tunnels, should we say,
Yeah.
energetically. So this is, I feel, in preparation for more uprising in our own energy and connecting with these in Earth, Middle Earth energies, and also the expression of the collective, really.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. When I woke up, this would have gone on for, I want to say, about 8 or 9 months. Every single time that I connected, and pretty much all of my lucid dreams in that time period, I would start in a tunnel. I would be in a tunnel, and I knew I was under the earth, and it would just be constant. Like I would go through the tunnel. It was almost like I came through the tunnels and out. This is my own, the way it was presented. I came out and landed in the body, right? Like
Yes.
walk
Yes.
in or higher aspect or whatever you want to call it.
Mm.
So, I'm a big believer, as the individual goes, so goes the collective, and I really feel like that the call is getting really loud, and this experience that we had, and I think that Morgan mentioned maybe, and how Morgan, she's reluctant. She doesn't like being in front of the camera so much, and she's very humble with how she might put what she does out there, which is virtually nothing in terms of promoting herself, I guess
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. But she
Yes.
said to me, which was kind of, interesting to me because I know her so well, but after we had, she goes, maybe we should, and our friend Gail actually was with us. She actually mentioned it too. Maybe we should do this and just invite, everyone. And, and then she can
Yeah.
facilitate getting us into the inner earth, and then
Yeah.
everybody, and we.
Maybe it's time to complete.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah. Is it? Is it time? Maybe it's time.
It probably is. Yeah, it was
Um,
happening. It was happening before. So
the other thing, if you want to do something before we go, is I just get a feeling for us to sort of go to Mammoth Cave energetically, maybe, and
let's do it.
should we do that? I don't know what's going to happen, but let's sort of
Yeah, let's do
I
that.
feel like there's something. It's come up a few times in people's questions, so I feel like there's something there for us to just check in about. So just just going inward for a second into your own internal space, feeling into your own being. Just going, and we're just going to take our consciousness now. To take our consciousness to Kentucky. And a place called Mammoth Cave. So just really holding space with each other, imagining that you are there, energetically you are there. And we are to be greeted. We are to be greeted by the Lemurian beings. They are most regularly hidden from view. But they have been waiting for us today, waiting for this collective of souls to return. And they have a small gift for the heart matrix of each of us individually. And it is like a little diamond. And it is a diamond codex of light that is a remembrance of your time in Lemuria. So you now may receive it if you feel comfortable and safe to. Ishkide bartiki shundide barkiki de gurkundurko ishile. Ishkile undurundike badigandar gandar gandar and Ashkudu de barkiki de be kishke urki inne kishki I. Shunda de barki elekete. Shele de tiete de ki. Oshkundoriala. This energy gift will help you to balance the feminine heart within your being, whether you be in a masculine or a feminine physical vessel. This is a support of you moving into the 22 turning point. So, when you're ready, you can feel yourself back in the here and now in your body. Taking your time to come back into the space you began.
Holy shiitake mushrooms. I think it's going to ramp up. I think it's going to ramp up here. We got 3 more days over there, 4 more over here. Basically 3 more days. Yeah. I'm definitely going to stay on my
toes. By the way, the picture's got crystal clear, by the way.
What's that?
The picture's got real crystal clear.
Yeah, I know. I noticed it earlier, though, it was happening. And and it's funny, people can say it's just tech, but no, I've done too many of these shows. There's a correlation. There's a total connection to what looks like tech issues and
when I do stuff online, it sometimes jiggies, and then when you look at the replay, it's fine. It's kind of bizarre.
I know. I've been saying that for quite some time on the show. I'll see things, and and I don't stop the show, and I rarely say anything, but
Mm, mm,
and I'm wondering, is everybody seeing what I'm seeing? You know,
mm,
like it's I
mm,
think this is part of what's coming into our lives. Basically, it's going to be a norm, you know,
mm.
before too long. Brother, it's
Yeah.
good seeing you. I always wish you and your partner and your
Yeah.
friends and family, everything,
Thank you,
all
mate.
blessings and you
Thank
know,
you. And all the
best.
best to you, Morgan. And shout out, and we'll continue the journey.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Good luck
All
with
right,
everything. And
all right.
I'll catch you soon.